How to be submissive when you are opinionated. This blog post has been one of the most popular ones on my blog, yourhomeforpod.com. I'm Wendy Gunn. I want to talk to you today about a topic I avoid because it hasn't been an easy road. I have been married, though, for 47 years. And when I listen to other people talk about marriage, you might feel the same way that I do. So many talk about, I'm married to my best friend, and it just gets better and better, and this and that and the other thing, and we just love spending time together, and the problems they have don't relate to me. And their story, I can't relate. And over the years, I have thought, maybe there's someone out there who's like me, and they're married to their polar opposite. And yet, you want to know how to have a lasting marriage. How can you have a good, God-glorifying marriage when you're polar opposites and when you're like me, opinionated? So I want to share with you some things that I've shared in a marriage conference years ago, and maybe it'll help you. There are a few things that I have learned, and even if you're married to a polar opposite, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can have a long-lasting, good marriage. You can have a God-honoring marriage. When you start thinking, maybe I married the wrong person, stop yourself immediately. A mentor of mine years ago said this: the moment you say, I do, you go from whether that was the wrong or right person to, this is God's will for me. Doesn't matter what it was before you said, I do. Now that you've said, I do, you have a commitment to a lifelong marriage. That was settled on the day that I said, I do. Was that easy? No. No. We had a lot of adjustments. And I've heard that you either have one or two things at the beginning of your marriage. You either have this honeymoon experience for a long time, or you have a really, really big adjustment. We had a really big adjustment. It took years. I have, over the years, learned a few things. One of the things that I have learned is to take my expectations to God, give them to God. And instead of putting my expectations on that man, I look right over his shoulder to a sovereign God. If whatever it is that I expect or want is God's will for me, God is perfectly capable of making it happen. He is capable. Years and years ago, when I was first married, it really bothered me that my husband took a long time to make a decision. I wanted to spontaneously, I was the queen of spontaneity. I wanted to, let's invite so-and-so over tonight. Let's go do this tonight, today. Let's do this. Bam. That didn't work with my husband. When I began to be frustrated with that, God talked to me and he showed me through a number of experiences and situations that God was perfectly able to use circumstances over time to prepare my husband to make the decision that God wanted made when it needed to be made. I then was able to relax and accept that if I wanted something to happen, I probably needed to plant some seeds in that thought way ahead, and that was okay. That was okay. I wasn't missing anything. FOMO, I wasn't missing anything. So learning to not try to change my husband and not lay my expectations on him. Well, if you were more like me, if you learned how to do this, this, and this, we'd be great. Well, if he was like me, one of us would be not needed. If I was like him, one of us would not be needed. The fact is that we have strengths in different areas, and we actually complement each other pretty well. We've become more like each other, not like each other, but more like each other over the years. So, giving my expectations to God, Psalm 62 talks about that. Giving my expectations to God and not becoming bitter. That's another tip. Don't become bitter. Put bitterness away. Who does that hurt? Bitterness hurts me. No one else. No one else. If you have bitterness, or maybe you don't realize it, maybe you're calling it disappointment. I'm just really disappointed with him. I'm just really, I'm just really sad, disappointed. I expected this and I got this. And I'm just really disappointed. No, you're bitter. You're bitter. When I was bitter, I had the Holy Spirit, the wind of the Holy Spirit, breeze flowing through me. Think of yourself as a house, a little house, windows wide open, and the Holy Spirit flowing through you. What bitterness does is, in order to protect yourself, you close all the windows and shutters. Now you're trapped. You're trapped inside. No Holy Spirit flowing through, no breeze, nothing, no freedom. You're trapped. You need to just decide first. It's a decision. First, it's a decision. I will not be bitter. Second, realizing God is in control. God allowed that to happen in your life. Maybe your own decisions, your own actions put you in that place more than you think. Maybe there was someone at fault who caused you harm. That happens. But God was still in control. He's still on the throne. And he can take that. He can use it in your life to change you and write a story that will bless and bring so many people help and glorify God. He can use that. And he promises to cause all things to work together for good in your life. It doesn't mean that thing was good, but he allowed it or he brought it. Depending, I say he sent it, he brought it. God's sovereign. But if you want to say allow, that's fine. Put bitterness away. It's not helping anybody. Satan wants you to be bitter. Satan wants you to feel, oh, wow, I'm such a victim. No. You are blessed and God has good. He has a plan for your life. So I'm going to continue with this topic because, okay, how to be submissive when you're opinionated? First, you submit to God, not that person. Yeah, it talks about submission to your husband, but really it's submission to God. Looking right over their shoulder to God, who is in control. So surrender to God your whole life, your marriage, your opinions, your heart, your life, your everything. And ask Him to be glorified. Ask Him to direct. That's the first step to how to be submissive when you are opinionated. This is Wendy Gunn.